Hallie with Handmade by Hallie here. Welcome to my next video. Today we're going to do a simple Valentine's project. We're going to make a bow with these ribbons. We're going to do some painting with these three colors. We are going to cut some cardboard hearts out. We're going to make a new hanger with some string and these beads. And I've made a couple simple heart patterns to use. We're going to use our scissors and paintbrush. So the first thing that we're going to do is take off the hanger, shake up our paint, and paint the back of this board, covering the printed materials that are on here. This will take 2 coats of black paint. You could do whatever color you want. I chose black for this one. Make sure you get around the edges of this project. Once it's all dried, we can move on to the next part. Next, we will pull out our cardboard and trace our large heart once and our small heart twice. Then cut these out with a good pair of scissors. This does take a little bit of muscle if you're using some good sturdy cardboard, and just takes a few minutes. If you're liking my video, please do the like, follow, and share and subscribe. This really helps my channel grow, and I'd greatly appreciate it. So after these are all cut and we get rid of our trash, I'm going to use a spray bottle and I'm going to spray my hearts in 3 or 4 places on the small one and about 5 or 6 places on the bigger one. And what this is going to do is this is going to soften that top layer of cardboard, so that I can use a sharp tool to peel just a little bit up, revealing the inner part of the cardboard. This will give a really fun effect when we are painting it. So be careful not to pull off too much on the large heart. I am going to paint some letters on here later, so leave plenty of room for that. And on this big heart, I did want to add water to one more spot. Just takes a few minutes to do this and just gives a really nice, fun look to these hearts. I decided I liked this so much I might use them in another project. So look forward to that. So once this is done, you just want to make sure that all those rough edges are smoothed down, so it can dry thoroughly before you paint. You don't want it to be all soggy when you're painting. That makes it take a long time to dry. So now that this is dry, we're going to just do 2 coats of this white, making sure to cover everything on the top and the sides a little bit. The sides are a little bit harder to cover because it is cut cardboard, but I'm not concerned about covering that all the way. Make sure to do 2 thorough coats and let it dry completely before the next step. Next, I've got out my red paint and I'm now turning my board over and giving this 2 coats of red, letting it dry all the way. After that, I'm going to distress the edges just a little bit, and I go all the way around the edge of the board, and the red dried really nice and a deep cherry red. I really like this color. It's going to look really nice with the ribbon that I've chosen to go with this. So you're just going to gently, with just a little bit of paint on the paintbrush, paint it on the edge and up over the edge just a little bit, and it's okay if it's less in some places and more in other places. After this is all done on this board, we're gonna do the dry brush on the front, and then we are gonna also distress our hearts, giving our hearts a distressed look as well. And I used my finger to hold it down and got a little bit of paint on the corner, so I just kind of give it a patch there. And then I do this on all of them. And there you go, pretty simple. Next, I'm going to get my red paint out and a smaller paintbrush and just paint XOXO and let that dry. So I've got some white string and I'm just measuring that out and kind of laying my wood beads. And I think I used about 12 to 14 beads on this one. And I'm using a lid and pouring a little bit of paint and a couple squirts of water, using a paintbrush to kind of roll those beads around, getting those all covered. And I'm going to use some paper towels and baby wipes to kind of remove some of the paint so they're not fully covered. They look more like they're whitewashed. This does kind of get messy, and every time I go to do this, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should put gloves on instead of having to wash my hands so much. Maybe one day I'll learn. Anyway, this gets done, and then we'll go on to the next part. So when everything's all dry, we will cover all of our surfaces with a sealant, and I've chosen to use this Elmer's glue that's clear. It makes a nice sealant for the board and for the cardboard. Just make sure this is thoroughly dry. Next, we will put our string through the hole from the top to the back, double knot it. Then I'm going to put some glue on the end of my string so I can thread my beads easier, and get 12 to 14 beads on here. And then I'm going to repeat the same on the other side, put my string down from the front around to the back and tie it off. And there we have a nice hanger that will coordinate with our project. I'm pretty pleased with these bead hangers that I've been doing. Next, we will arrange our hearts and just glue them down with some hot glue. Just pressing those down till they're sticking good, getting them in place, and then we will make a bow to go up above the big heart. So I've chosen 2 ribbons, and I'm going to make a simple bow. In this one I'll do a hand bow, 2 loops about 4 inches long with 2 tails, and because this ribbon is a directional ribbon, I had to cut off the tail and put it back on, or the other tail would be upside down. And then I added a light pink on top. Just make those a little bit smaller. Then I use a zip tie around my ribbon. And then I'm going to cut a smaller piece of the pink ribbon to cover the zip tie to make it hide. And then our bow will be ready to trim a little bit more once we get on our project. So the last part is just putting our bow on here and then trimming it up just a little bit more. Sometimes you get it on your project and you want it a little bit shorter, and that's okay. And then I like to let that glue sit and hold it with a big clip. And here we go. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.